Hi and a very warm welcome. Greg Parry here, your personal guide to complete well-being. Now, if you had to ask me what was really missing from most people's lives, the answer might surprise you because the one thing that seems to make the greatest difference to the quality of our lives is love. I know it's a word which is hugely overused, particularly in the entertainment industry, and we have some very strange ideas about what love really means. There are entire books written about the subject. So I prefer to use a different word, and the word I'm looking for today is acceptance. Acceptance at a very deep and profound level, because if you've ever met someone who accepted you totally, completely, you know that it's a very rare, but it's a deeply empowering experience. When you meet someone who gives you that kind of unconditional acceptance, it can be powerfully transforming. It's as if you're no longer within a sphere of judgment. And this is a very, very powerful dynamic. Now, you might have to wait a long time to meet somebody who is willing to give you unconditional love or unconditional acceptance. But there is a place where you can find it. You can find it every hour, every day. And that's from yourself. In fact, I would suggest that the moment that you feel more comfortable with who you are, exactly as you are now, the more you can accept yourself, the more you can give yourself that kind of unconditional love that is so powerful for human beings, the better you're going to feel. Now, let's be clear. We're not perfect. We're not ignoring our faults and challenges. We're not ignoring the areas where we have to make progress. It's not about closing our eyes to the areas where we really need to keep working. We are all a work in progress. But when you give yourself unconditional acceptance, do you know what happens? You take away a lot of the internal resistance to change. You find it easier to work with some of the weaknesses and foibles that make us who we are. You find it easier to move beyond some of the limitations that are placed on us, that we often place on ourselves. So yes, the world would be a much better place if we could introduce the concept of love on a global basis. But rather than waiting for someone to turn up in your life to make you feel complete, give yourself the unconditional love and acceptance that will help to make you feel stronger, more balanced, just for who you are. Not for what you pretend to be, not for the roles you play, not for the masks you wear, but for who you really are. And the great thing is that as you learn to accept yourself without the judgments and the criticism, without all those harsh negative comments that float around in your mind, the more likely you are to expand this feeling to include others. That's how you change the world. You, personally, right now, here, today, can make the world a better place. And it begins within your own heart. And that's why, if we're really serious about deep, powerful well-being, integrating the system the way it's supposed to work, you start with unconditional love. You start with complete acceptance. And then see how quickly your life evolves. Now, as usual, if you've got any comments or questions, any observations, just drop me an email. The address is in the description. And if you want to share the video, feel free to do so. In the meantime, I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and I'll be back with you again soon.